in making the observations, Mr. President, I'm taking into consideration some of the criticism already in the public domain before now. I want to say, Mr. President, that listening to the Chairman of Finance, I agree with their proposal of $57 per barrel being proposed for 2022-2023. Again, Mr. President, putting the official rates of the exchange rate at 410, I hope we'll be able to manage that. My main point, Mr. President, will be on the issue of borrowing. Mr. President, a lot has been said and a lot of fear expressed by quite a number of people that borrowing by our nation is getting too much. But to me, Mr. President, I hold the strong view that while borrowing could be a thing of fear, the question must be, our borrowing is for what? If the borrowing is meant to meet the development of infrastructural facilities, to me, that will enhance productivity and the well-being of the people, I think there's nothing bad about borrowing. It is how the borrowing is being channeled. Today, Mr. President, many of our highways are not motorable. In fact, that explains why we equally have increase in insecurity in our nation. Many roads that ought to have been constructed long before now are still lying fallow with potholes. We still have problem of electricity, Mr. President. Quite a number of areas cannot tell you when last they had the privilege of having electricity in their homes. Again, Mr. President, the cost of electricity itself is getting beyond the reach of the poor. Mr. President, our emphasis as a chamber should be, what are this money going to be channeled into? If borrowing will be meant to galvanize socio-economic development by providing infrastructural facilities, I think it is well spent money. And I don't know of any nation that is today facing the challenges of development, looking at the COVID pandemic, that is not borrowing. Our concern must be, what are we borrowing for? If our borrowing is to develop infrastructural facilities, our educational facilities, I think it is a good thing to borrow, to develop education and increase capacity of the younger generation, to give them proper education. It's still, well, some people may not come to be infrastructure or capital project. To me, borrowing must be must be channeled towards empowering the people, providing the basic infrastructural facilities that will help to expand the economic activities of our people. If that is what this borrowing is meant for, Mr. President, I think we should all support borrowing. We should all support borrowing that will help to develop our nation. We are not going to deny the fact that Nigeria, inclusive, nations of the world today, are faced with the problem of the pandemic. Economic activities have been grounded. Today, Mr. President, I will take aviation, for example. There are up to 10 international airlines that are no longer coming to Nigeria. Not because they had problem with Nigeria airspace, but because even their nations, the passengers are not just there. People are not just traveling again. That is affecting aviation. So Mr. President, I think in the case of Nigeria, we are fighting a dual battle, a dual war. While we are facing the problem of insecurity on one hand, then our economy, the stronghold, the oil, is falling. So we have no option than to borrow. But the borrowing must be channeled towards infrastructural development, Mr. President. The total sum of money we have voted.
You may round up, please.
It's about $3 billion to look at it. Because yesterday we were trying to do some comparison. Now we now compare what we are putting into armed forces, security, with a nation like Pakistan, for instance. They had about $12 billion for the armed forces. So we still have a lot to do. And Nigeria is faced with insecurity problems. Our infrastructures are bad. So if our borrowing is going to be channeled towards those things that will empower the people, provide infrastructure facilities, Mr. President, I think we should support that. The task is for us to monitor how this money will be spent and to make sure that they are spent for the purpose that which Nigerian people will be happy and they will see the result. I just submit, Mr. President.